Hi guys, let's put on some final touches while we talk about the fall season and embracing it. Embrace your fall season. So, a couple months ago, life was just happening and life was just lifing and life was lifing well. So, we had reason to rejoice and we were just so happy. We would shout from the mountaintop, just how good God is, and we were just happy. And it was easy to encourage others to love God, to love on God, to find God, and just to rest assured in Him, to relax and find peace in Him. And so fall came around, and I was like, oh my God, fall is so pretty. I would love to, share a word about fall because it's just so beautiful. And I think God heard me. I think God heard me because, like I said, life was just going so well, and then out of nowhere, something happened that was not my fault, not in my control, and it just kind of made things topsy-turvy. Everything seemed to be my responsibility as it relates to getting things sorted out, and I was just like, okay then. And then one thing after another just kept happening. And my interpretation of the fall season, to begin with, was like the leaves are gonna get dry and they're gonna fall off, and then comes winter. And so I was like, oh my God, it's so beautiful because it's like right before your darkest, loneliest, coldest time is the most beautiful time of the year. If you don't know what fall looks like, Google it. It's beautiful. The leaves start to get all auburn, yellow, and there's still some greenery. And at their peak, they're the most beautiful. It's a wonder to see. It's awe-inspiring. When the leaves get to their peak beauty, is when they get to be their driest and they're about to fall off. And so things were going well and things were getting so good, and then all of a sudden it started to fall apart. The leaves started to fall off, and I was like, okay, I asked for a message, but I'm getting to live a message. And one day I was in my car and I was just like, okay. Literally, I was like, okay. So we say we trust God and we say we love on Him and we encourage others to do so. But are we going to trust Him right now, Nicola? Like, how you feel? And I was just like, I don't feel happy about this, God. I don't like this. I don't like what's happening. But I'm going to trust in You. And let me tell you, I have just held on. I've literally had to speak to my soul and my spirit and be like, trust God. Because we know that all things are going to work together for good. And so we know that no, the season that we're in is just a season. And it may only get worse because winter is coming. It will only get lonelier. It will only get colder because winter is coming. But after winter comes spring. What I want to say is to brace for your fall season. Because though you may not be in your fall season right now, things are not falling apart, it might show up because all of us are humans and we go through life as such. And so if your fall season seems to be approaching, just brace for it. If you're in your fall season, brace for it and just appreciate. We should find joy in our sufferings. It doesn't mean that we're happy for the suffering, because no, I'm not happy. No, I wasn't happy. And I'm still not very happy. But guess what? I find peace in my suffering, knowing that though it make it harder before it gets better, it will get better. But I'm going to brace for it, and because I'm stronger. Because I'm stronger because of who strengthens me and who is in me. Joseph, he saw a dream just of how great he would be. But then right after that, his brothers tried to kill him. One of them said, don't kill him. They sold him. And when he was sold into slavery, then he was immediately propelled in life. He lived in Potiphar's house. He was above Potiphar's operations. Potiphar gave him control. And then when things were going so good, it looked like everything worked out for his good. Bam, Potiphar's wife said that he tried to rape me, and he fell. He literally fell. He fell into prison. And he was in prison for quite some time until he interpreted the dream of two others who were in prison with him. He said one would die and one would be elevated in life. And the one who got elevated in life, he said, remember me, because I'm in here wrongfully. Remember me. Remember me. And 2 years had passed and the man did not remember him until Pharaoh had a dream, and the man said, hold on, I remember a young man who can interpret dreams. And then he spoke Joseph's name to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh called him in front of him, and he interpreted the dream for Pharaoh and told him 7 years of prosperity, 7 years of famine, to prepare in the 7 years of prosperity. And Pharaoh was like, wow, God is in you. Your God really knows what's happening, and so I'm going to elevate you. And immediately that very same day, Joseph was elevated in life. He was propelled. Listen, he was second only to Pharaoh as it relates to ruling Egypt. Everything had to go through his hand. That was Joseph's spring. But guess what? He went through his fall and he went through his winter. Because like I said, he fell into prison. And he was in prison for a long time and he was lonely. He felt as if, he was forsaken. Because remember, he told this man, remember me, and the man forgot about him. So he went through his winter, his cold, lonely days. And years passed. And then he had his spring. So I'm telling you, brace for your fall. If you're in it now, appreciate it, because you will know what it is like to be without, so that when you have and when you are with, oh my gosh, you will hold on to it and you will cherish it, because you know what it's like to not have. Appreciate the fall, because the fall builds in you strength. The fall allows you time to see all the things that you had fade away. And then when you get into your winter, you realize I have nobody else but God. And that's the best company to have. So I'm telling you, I'm going through my fall, but I'm appreciating my fall season, because it is just that, a season. And the Bible tells us that there's a season for everything. So we can't just expect cherry and pie all the time. We have to appreciate when the coffee is just a black coffee, no cream or no sugar. Brace for your fall season, and if you're in it, appreciate it. And I'm praying for you as well as I'm praying for myself. Let's go through it, but go through it with Jesus, because a lot of times he brings these seasons not to trouble us and not to nitpick at us, because hey, we are living for him, not to punish us. These seasons are not punishments. Oftentimes they are tests from him to say, I've been good to you, but when things are not so good, do you still love me? When things are not so good, will you still cling to me? Because you see, at the peak of our fall season, everything is beautiful. The money is right, the love is right, the friendship is right, everything is flowing and going our way. But then when you see the bills start increasing, oh my gosh, you can't find the first dollar. When you see things, people and things start leaving you, your leaves are falling off. And then it only gets worse, because then people leave you, and then nobody comes to replace them. The money leaves you and no money is coming in back. You're barely surviving. You literally have your daily bread and that's it. Because it's cold out there, it's lonely, and literally the only person you can turn to is God. The only thing you can say, dear God. Appreciate that season, because you are going to find that in your spring, you're going to attract more and more. But you'll be able to encourage those who you attract to find who was with you during your fall and your winter season. And that is only Jesus Christ. That is only Jesus Christ. So appreciate the season. Things may be falling apart, but until God takes you out of the race, you will not fall on your face. Be blessed.